Shabbat Shalom. This is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries. The website is www.spiritandtorah.com. This is being recorded on August the 31st, 2013. It's getting toward the end of the Sabbath day, the Shabbat Shalom, here on the West Coast in Portland, Oregon. And I have a lot to share with you, obviously, about current events that are coming up. But before I start into what I want to talk about in this YouTube, I just want to preface this message by saying, look, all of this prophecy stuff and all of this looking at current events and the news and relating it to Bible prophecy, none of that amounts to a hill of beans. None of it matters if you're not living holy. So if you're not taking the word of Yahweh seriously, if you're not implementing the scriptures into your own life, if you're not living holy, if you're not, exalting Yahshua in your life, staying close to Him, talking with Him, having an active prayer life, reading your scriptures, obeying His word, keeping His Torah, if you're not doing these things, then, all the prophecy stuff in the world is not going to matter. So I just implore anyone out there, if you're just getting into prophecy for prophecy or because you think you're going to get raptured out of here or whatever, stop it. Turn this video off. Don't watch any other prophecy videos until you get your heart right and you're living holy, because that's the whole point. We're seeing that things are getting very, very dark. We see that things are getting very, very close to the end, and so we should be even more impelled to make sure that our garments are spotless, are white, and that we're living in accordance with the way that Yahshua, our Messiah, wants us to live. So I just wanted to get that out there real quickly. Alrighty, so of course everyone knows about what's been going on with Syria and how it looks like we are on the brink of a major confrontation. I want to point out this story right here that was on stevequail.com from a guy named V Guerrilla Consulting, and this is a very interesting story here. I'm going to provide a link to this story in the video. But he spends the first part of this article talking about the international bankers and how the crisis with a lot of the economies of the world are playing everything. But then he says something interesting about Syria. Now, he published this story on August the 28th, so this is a couple of days ago. And he says this: "Now, unto Syria, the latest drumbeats are an imminent strike by Thursday. There are massive fears in the market, and oil prices are surging. There have been reports put out by big banks like SocGen and Goldman Sachs that oil can bloom to $150 a barrel if the Syrian conflict goes hot with involvement from Russia and China. The news I've gotten from my sources run inverse to what many are saying. Take this with a grain of salt, but the imminent strike on Syria, if it goes through tomorrow, will be limited with less than 40 targets. From what I have heard is that this administration has leaked on purpose the sites targeted for a strike. They've made it a point to tell Bashar that he is not in any danger and that this is a show of force based on the ruse of a chemical weapons discharge that requires an international response. In essence, America is playing cop and have to slap the wrist of the evildoer. Barack Obama will be meeting with Putin next week to broker a deal to include Russia a place at the table. In other words, the banksters are not yet ready to pull the trigger now in August. But come October, all bets will be off. What that simply means is this: Russia will not respond to the limited action against Syria so long as Russia assets are not harmed. Hence, Putin also has the targeted sites given to him by Barry. Bashar will move his assets, weapons, and this will be a simple show. A show for what? A market reaction test to see how high the fear will build, and a needed distraction that will allow more assets to be stolen and more draconian legislation to be passed. Look for the UN Small Arms Treaty as well as various tests and drills around the country, as DHS will be working overtime. Again, take it for what it's worth. World War III does not kick off tomorrow, but by October, all bets are off. I sense any deal brokered by Barry, President Obama, will be reneged, and Putin will feel the sting of the American backstab. At that point, it was a pleasure to know some of you, and it was an honor serving all of you through the internet and radio. The implosion has started, but not yet." Okay, so he published this a couple of days ago, basically saying that things are escalating, but it's not quite time for it. And as we've seen since August 28th, over these last 2 days, it looks like he's right, because you go to Drudge Report, finger on the trigger, pauses. Obama, of course, announced today, had a big press conference where he said now he's going to seek congressional approval before he does any type of military action. And it looks like Congress is not going to get back into session until at the earliest September 9th. So it seems like things are being put on pause, and things are being held back now until October. Now this is very, very interesting because for those of you who have been following my videos, and if not, you can look at some of my past videos. You can go to my website at spiritandtorah.com, and you will know that many people, in terms of following the Hebrew feast days, are following the wrong calendar. So a lot of people are gearing up to celebrate Yom Teruah. So we're right here on August 31st. People are getting ready to celebrate Yom Teruah here in early September. And that is not when the Feast of Trumpets, when Yom Teruah occurs. Everyone started the year way too early. They started in the winter. Not all the barley was Aviv yet. There was still barley that was not Aviv on the Temple Mount in the middle of March, so you could not declare a new year. The new year did not begin to April. So what this means is the Feast of Trumpets is not going to occur in September, like everyone's saying. The Feast of Trumpets will occur on October 6th, right down here, October 6, 2013. And I think that the fact that we're seeing that things are now going to be delayed with this whole Syrian conflict is confirmation of that. Because I believe that this implosion with Syria that is going to lead to a global conflict is going to be directly tied in with the feast this year. So we got the Feast of Trumpets right here on October 6th. And then 10 days later, we're going to have Yom Kippur, and then we're going to have the Feast of Sukkot here toward the end of October. And it is during those real feast dates that I believe that we're going to start seeing some serious things go down. Now, why do I say that? Because if you, again, go to my website, you'll see on the timeline that by early March, by March 11th, 2014, that is exactly 1,290 days before Yom Teruah of 2017, when I believe the first resurrection is going to occur, that is when the abomination of desolation goes down, in early March of 2014. So between now and March, we're going to see this Syria conflict blow up into this massive worldwide conflict. We've already gotten reports that if the United States strikes Syria, Russia is going to strike Saudi Arabia, and this proxy war is going to turn into a global war. Now, in the book of Daniel, it talks about how this end-time beast has 10 horns, but 3 of the horns get uprooted by the son of perdition, by the man of sin. I believe what this means is that in this coming global war that's going to basically, I think, erupt in October of this year, that what's going to happen is that, first of all, a lot of the Arab nations around Israel are going to get wiped out. Israel is going to emerge the victor. Israel is going to become basically a superpower. The 3 horns to get wiped out will be the United States, England, and France. Those 3 horns, I believe, are going to be totally wiped out. And of course, with the United States, France, and England being eliminated, that's going to totally change the dynamic of the world. Russia and China, they'll sort of be licking their wounds and everything, but Israel is going to be the superpower. And then at that point, Israel is going to be able to, of course, bring back its temple, rebuild the temple, the sacrifices will be able to go forth. Now, this is a warning I need to send out to many of you. A lot of people are going to believe that this war that's going to take place, because it's going to be a bad war, a lot of people are going to die, that it's going to be Armageddon. It is not going to be Armageddon. It is going to be a false Armageddon, okay? You do not want to go to Israel, because from 2014 until 2017, okay, for the next 42 months, Israel is going to be like what Revelation 11 says. Israel is going to be spiritually Sodom and Egypt. It is going to be the center of where the Antichrist, the Anti-Messiah, is going to be enthroned. And all the false religions are going to be united and joined up to this messianic, Solomon-like figure who is going to be glorious and beautiful and awesome, but he's going to be the devil, okay? And a lot of people, Christians, Messianics, Muslims, Buddhists, all from all religions, they're all going to be captivated by this messianic figure. They're going to think that he really is the Messiah returned, and he won't be. He's going to be the devil. So I believe that out of the ashes of this war that's going to be sparked in October, that by March of 2014, we're going to see the man of sin emerge. And he's going to declare himself to Yahweh right in Jerusalem. And Israel is basically going to be the superpower of the world at that point. So a lot of things are going to change. A lot of things are going to be put into upheaval. What is the most important thing to do? The most important thing to do is to stay close to Yahshua, to learn to listen to his voice and to stay in his word, to stay close to him. Also, you should not be alone, okay? And what I mean by that is Yahweh's design is never for his people to be alone. You need to be plugged into a congregation. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, the congregation that I attend, it's basically me and 2 other people, so it's like 3 of us. But the scripture says where 2 or more are gathered together in my name, there I am. So it's me and 2 other people, and we get together on Skype, and we have a congregation. We meet every Sabbath, and we do praise and worship. We get into the scriptures. We spend time in fellowship. We hold each other accountable, and so there's fellowship. So you need to find someone, even if it's just 2 or 3 people, that's local or that you can communicate with on the computer. People that you can be close with during this time, because that's going to be needed. It's going to be very needed. And you got to just stay close to him, because that's the only thing that's going to help you during this time. You can hoard all the food and water and stuff that you want, but really, I mean, a lot of times that's just going to make you a target, you know, especially if this nation goes down, things collapse. The only thing is to stay close to him. Stay close to Yahshua HaMashiach. That's the key. So I do think things are going to be delayed here for the next few weeks, but things will continue to build, and it looks like this October is when we will see this thing go global in terms of a global conflict. The Psalm 83 war that will affect all the nations of the earth. Okay, Yah bless. Shabbat Shalom. Again, the website is www.spiritandtorah.com.